Howdy everyone, Dr. Nirego here, and welcome back to another episode of the 5-minute paper talk. This time we're covering a paper that is titled Deep Learning Based High Resolution Frequency Estimation for Sparse Radar Range Profiles. Okay, so the idea here is the following. Given a sinusoidal type signal, which is what we usually get in terms of the reflections. We get multiple target in the range profile, which is a superposition of bit frequencies or tones that we see here, complex cosines. We need to estimate these. We need to estimate the frequencies of these complex exponentials, namely f sub k that we see here. All right, and the idea is the following. They start by, they have an input, noisy input data. They have the clean signal. They pass it through an autoencoder to clean it. This output is compared in a loss called L sub 1. This is not the L1 type metric. It's not the L1 loss. It's actually a mean squared error loss, and this is multiplied by lambda. Then this autoencoder output, or the clean signal, so to speak, is going into a let's say MLP, multi-layer perceptron network, and they claim that this actually estimates frequency or frequency representation, FRs they call it. And then a 1D unit block will basically take a range profile that, for example, was 200 bins and convert it into a range profile of 1000 bins, which is higher resolution, I guess 5 times more resolution. Okay. Also, this final output is compared to the ground truth. The ground truth obviously is generated with the knowledge of the frequencies that we generate. This is synthetic data, and this is how they train. I think they train on a few hundred thousands of these signals. Here is a plot or a figure that conveys the idea that I just described. We have the autoencoder block. They concatenate the real and imaginary here, reshape it to 400, and the output is also 400. And then there is this dense layer multi-layer perceptron, which they call the frequency estimation block. Why, I don't know, but let's run with it. And then they do a 1D unit, which is kind of like an encoder, encoder-decoder network with the conv 1D and conv 1D transpose, and the output is 1 by 1000 vector, which is the clean range profile high res. Okay, so they train it for various SNRs, and they compare between FFT and HR FRACnet. That's the name of their frequency response network or frequency representation network. And here they are comparing between FFT and their proposed solution with D. D is the normalized frequency distance. So D equals 0.1. Is basically 2 tones separated by 0.1 in a normalized frequency. Normalized frequency is a number between 0.5 to minus 0.5 to 0.5. And you can see that here, D is stretching from 0.1 to 2. Let's see again what is D here. I'm sorry, this is not normalized frequency. This is actually this D, which is, we have a frequency at 10 hertz, and we have a frequency at 10 plus D hertz. Okay, that's why they what they do, and they try to characterize the super resolution capabilities. Now, the FFT that they use is without any windowing. You see the side lobes here, and that's not common practice in radar. We don't do FFT without windowing, just because of these effects of the sync type minus 13 dB side lobes. So I think that this comparison is not fair, so to speak. And also, it is not compared to any other super resolution algorithms, for example, music or Capone MVDR. So I don't know to what extent this is actually better than super resolution algorithms. It's a lot more complicated than doing FFT and windowing, for sure. The way I would go about it is compare it to the best practice of radar, which is FFT windowing, CFAR detection, and peak interpolation. Okay, and here they show also some range profiles or range through time type diagrams for FFT and two other networks comparing to theirs.